sick, so I'm just gonna sound like this the entire video. Um, this episode of the Pokemon Moon blind playthrough is just gonna be a ton of spoilers. Just a whole butt ton of spoilers. So if you haven't gotten this far, or you haven't gotten past Po Town in on the third island, I would just save this one until a later point in time for your future self. So, my team of Pokemon that wasn't necessarily the best or the best prepared or balanced team in the world ended up being the one that I took to Team Aether's Aether Paradise because, as it turns out, like I'm sure they've wanted you to think the entire time, Team Skull and Team Aether are kind of one big happy family, as it were. That's foreshadowing for later. So, after the Kahuna battle, which you saw, which was pretty easy, I come back and the girl's been kidnapped with Cosmog. They've been kidnapped by Team Skull and taken to Aether Paradise, so definitely some things going on there. I was surprised at the makeup of Team Aether's grunt Pokemon. They had a lot of like middle stage dragon Pokemon and otherwise rare and pretty good Pokemon. There were some challenges in there. Um, you don't ever really fight Team Aether, so I can't say beforehand. So I can't say I really knew what Pokemon to expect from the challenge or for the bad guy teams or the boss or anything like that. So I was able to get through everything, but it was a little bit of a challenge. Specifically, there was a point where you had to fight three different people, one after the other. So it was kind of like fighting a good team of three. And that was a little bit challenging because there were definitely some Pokemon that I didn't really have a great answer to. I went in there with the Ghost Marowak, my Sandygast, which actually evolved during the whole ordeal. And I'll read about its Pokedex entry later. I did go in with Charjabug. I was like, I'll keep Charjabug just in case I have to deal with that Golisopod again, which I did, and it wasn't much help. Actually, it really wasn't much help. I think first impression, one of the signature moves of Golisopod is pretty strong. It just took out my Charjabug like that. I think maybe I'm not sure if I had a Swords Dance in there, but on the switch in, but it was not an incredibly good counter to Golisopod. But so I had those three. I had Muck. I'm trying to remember who else I had, but I did I have Hypno? I may have had Hypno. But point being, it wasn't my best team. So actually, you know what? I had Aquanade, the water spider, because I just thought of why that was. So I got through the jerk with his Golisopod and all that, but I was running out of items. I was running out of super potions. I had to go back into like max revives and the really good items I had been saving. And there was a point in that gauntlet where I was like, man, somebody needs to heal my Pokemon because I am not at 100% going into what I assume is going to be a big boss battle against Aether's boss, the lady who turns out to be everybody's mom. I knew she was Millie's mom. Gladion was a little less predictable, but man, she is not a nice lady. I like her as a villain. She feels different. She has different connections to characters than your villains usually do. She's interesting. I think this actually might be the first. Yeah, I guess this is the first like bad girl of the series when it comes to like the enemy teams. Like all the other leaders are or men, unless I'm forgetting something. So she had a bunch of different pretty good Pokemon, and I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but in the end, thing as like Ghost Marowak and the Aquanade really helped me out. Ghost Marowak was nice against things like Clefable, where they would keep on doing metronome, and it would be a normal attack, and he's Ghost, so he doesn't get hit by that. But Melodic showed up, and Melodic is definitely a Pokemon that I've always been frightened of ever since Generation 4 and the Champions. It's crazy scary Melodic. I don't think it's as scary as Melodics used to be, but it was something I had to take out. I think she had 5 Pokemon. It was probably the first big 5 Pokemon trainer I've had to face in the game. And she was good, and I made it through, and I really wish I could have recorded the battle, but I didn't have any. I was totally filled up on the phone, so I didn't really have the memory storage to film it, but it was a good battle. I was surprised when she took off. It does indicate that I'm going to have to fight her again at a certain point. And there's a lot of cool stuff going on when it comes to the Pokemon coming in from the outside world. I do have the Master Ball now. I'm on the 4th island, finally. It seemed like I was going through that for a while, and my team of random ass Pokemon are now like some of the highest ones. But I'm on Pony Island. It just seems to be this wilderness area. But we'll talk about a couple of the Pokemon that have finally evolved. Finally. I have Lurantis now. I don't know if it was because I allowed it to learn Sweet Scent, or if it just randomly evolves at level 37. Something tells me maybe Sweet Scent is part of it. I don't know. Lurantis is a little disappointing to me, actually. I thought it was going to be better than the stats I'm seeing. This might be because I already have a grass Pokemon that has a really high attack, and I don't. If you compare one to the other, I might just go with that one. I did evolve my Ice Sandshrew into an Ice Sandslash, just for funsies. And I did my Sandcastle Pokemon evolved. I just wanted to mention I just wanted to mention its Pokedex entry because I've noticed that a lot of these Pokedex entries in this game are kind of like almost clinically morbid when it comes to saying like, oh, this Pokemon eats this other Pokemon, or this Pokemon falls to the ground and gets eaten by others, and you're like, I mean, obviously they're animals and they would probably be eating each other, and if this was, based on, or, more realistic, but it's still weird to see like, oh, this Rattata would be eaten by this Yungoos. Okay. But this Palossand, who my opinion of has not been solidified yet. Here's its Pokedex entry. Buried beneath the castle are masses of dried up bones from those whose vitality it has drained. That's pretty dark for this cute little, like, oh, this cute little sand castle ghost thing. Is like, it's beneath it are the bones of the dead it has consumed. That's kind of hardcore. I thought there was somebody else that evolved, but that's escaping me right now. I'm sure I'll just talk about it in the next video if I can't figure it out. I'm pretty sure the Charjabug is coming up to evolve. God, I really hope so. And we'll see what new Pokemon come out on this island. This is the last island, the 4th island. It still feels like there's a lot of like events to do yet in the game and the story, but it feels like the game is coming to an end at the same time, which is sad because I am really enjoying this game. Hopefully you are too.